What is going on? It's Alexander Thomas here. Welcome back to Game Team 123. Today we've got the fourth deck, or maybe the third deck. It's the fourth deck of it, which is going to be the burn-based deck titled Rage. And that is the whole object of this deck. It's really, really weird. The mechanic for this deck, which I know is something that we normally don't have anything about, is burn. And what burn is whenever your opponent attacks, it's basically a flick, we put it that way. If you attack and your opponent decides to block, then that opponent loses that much life, depending on whatever the burn is. We'll go ahead and get into this one here, since it's going to be an interesting one. That's what I'm going to see. And this is a Rage. This is a full deck. And I've already ordered all these cards, so they're already in process of getting here. They're supposedly in Georgia right now. No idea if that's really where they are right now. Yeah. Alright, we got our first one we got ourselves. We got Gurka. I made these names up. It has 1 red, tap, deal 1 damage to any target. And it has burn 1. When this creature attacks and is blocked, the defending player loses 1 life. Afflict is very similar to this, except actually, honestly, it's almost exactly the same. But you will also go ahead and tell you show you what Afflict does. Did I not spell that right? Afflict, I think, is something they got rid of. Afflict is when your opponent comes to block, defending player loses 2 life. So actually, it's exactly the same. It's literally the same effect. In context, originally what I was going to do was making this a burn, basically, so it actually does damage to you. But that's not quite how it works for it. So the first one is, it's the first card. You can deal 1 damage to a target. I mean, the whole objective is it's all goblins, pretty much. There's some other cards that are not goblins, and deal 1 damage to an opponent. That is the whole object of this deck. Number 2 is Ringo, which is the main character in this set. Is Ringo has ears. He has 4 of them apparently. Target creature gains burn 1 until the end of turn. When this creature hacks, yeah, I'm not going to go over all that. It's an instant, so you can play it any time and say, hey, it now has burn. And it's a instant, so it's a 1-cost instant that says, hey, make it difficult. Just going to hit you, so if you block it, you take 1 damage. Now, here's the thing. If you don't block, you take whatever the normal damage is. But there are cards that say to make you lose life whenever your opponent loses life, something happens. But I don't know for sure if that's what happens in here or not. We'll see. We got Rage of Fury. It's a 2-cost. Target gets +2/+2 into end of turn. Sounds pretty normal. There's a lot of cards that are just like this, so I'm not really too worried about that at all, because it just is a lot of things on all of it. We got ourselves to the next one. This is going to be Ringo the Burning. This is one of those Ringo cards. When you attack, target creature gains burn 1 until end of turn. If I spell until long, I'm sorry. When this creature, burn 1. It has burn 1 itself, so it can deal. So basically, if you block it, you'll take 1 damage. If you don't block it, you'll take 2 damage. Sounds fair, right? It's somewhat fair because honestly, burn is not as much. It's not as much. And I guess I didn't put the extra context here because it's right here, but that is how burn works. It's an uncommon, the first uncommon we've got to deal with. Fire Goblin. It's 2 red. When it attacks, it deals 1 damage to any target. 1, 2, doesn't have burn. It's pretty good for that. Burning Dragon. Now, in every one of these sets that I've made, every one of them has a dragon, at least one dragon, that has some specialized effects. This is a 9/6 flying and haste and has burn 3. I think honestly it's better to block it in this case because that means you actually get 6 life back basically, but maybe you don't have a flyer. 9 damage to you if that's what happens for it. And Burning Dragon is a pretty powerful. It does cost 6 to get into the fields. And a lot of dragons do cost that much anyways. I wonder if I have any of them right now, but I don't know. The next card is going to be Flaming Attack. Okay, so this is going to be Monstrous Growth. That's literally what it is, except more expensive. Target gets +4/+4 and it's haste until end of turn. Card number 7. If I put some of these things in the wrong order, like I made something wrong here, I apologize for that. I've reprinted the cards though, so they're not going to change. Next card we got is Refu. Whenever it attacks, so it has haste. Whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn if you control another goblin. And a lot of these are goblins. So the entire thing is basically goblins out of this deck. We got Torfu. Goblins you control +2/+1, and you can pay 3 to create a 2/1 goblin token with haste. Okay. So it's a legendary creature, Goblin Warrior, 2/1. Actually, it's apparently not a creature because it doesn't have effects. It's probably a 1/1. Because it doesn't actually have any specialities. I'm going to say it's probably a 1/1. That's just my guess off it because I don't have a clue. It does take goblins you control, so really it's a 3/1. I might just take that one out because of that very reason. But, you know, it happens. Mistakes can be made. Furlong. Goblin Warrior. Burn 1. 2/1. For 1. Not much else to go with that. Fire Dome. Goblin spells cost 1 less to cast, and has haste. The problem is a lot of these things just cost red, or some will cost like red something. So I don't think it makes much of a difference in this case. There might be a little bit, but considering this is a commander-based deck, it's probably not going to be that big of a deal. Goblin Blade. It's an artifact that gives creature +2/+2 and haste, and equip for 2. Doesn't equip to a creature when it enters, so it doesn't make a lot of sense. Goblin Warrior. So 2/1 with haste. Yay. There's nothing else to say to that. Haste means it can attack the turn you play it. Fire Bowl. It's an artifact. Add red, deal 1 damage to yourself. Punch yourself in the face. Burn yourself, and add 1 red mana. Not a very useful card, I guess. I don't know. It's not very good for me. That's why it's a common. Firefox. It's a Firefox. I don't know. There's a fire type. Has haste, burn 1. It's a cost 3, 2/2. Not much else to say about that. It just Bunch of stuff occurs. Phoenix. Oh, it's an enchantment creature. When it dies, return to the battlefield tapped. Oh, cool. Yeah, it goes away. Comes on back. And you can give it plus, and you can actually make it buff it up too. Oh, it's also not a creature. It's probably a 1/1. So I don't know where that works or not. I have to assume that's a 1/1 because apparently that cards don't work for that. I think anything it would be like that will have to be a 1/1. So it becomes a 1/1 that returns battlefield when it tapped and it dies. Oh, I forgot there's like 8 planeswalkers in this set. No, there's not. There's a few. Fire Master can be Master of Fire can be your commander. It's a goblin. You can create 2 1/1 goblins of haste, and then you can give target creatures you control plus burn 1 until end of turn by minusing by 3. That's an ultimate you can do on turn 1. So give everything you want for it. It does only work until end of turn, but still. Powerful. We got Irko, which is 3 red. Burn 1, 2, 4. Not much else to say about that. Doesn't have haste, doesn't have anything special. Fire possession. Every one of these decks has some sort of possession. Pay 3 life, or sacrifice a creature in addition to its card's mana cost. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. It's like Act of Freezing. And it's supposed to position into end of turn. It does not have haste. Give point. It does not have haste. So this is something you target later, and every one of the startings has one thing: it does not give a creature's haste. Prepare for combat. It's an enchantment. Pay 2, deals 2 damage to you, and each creature you control gets +1/+0 to turn. Interesting card. I mean, looking at that, if everything, just go ahead and say, I'm going to pay 10 mana, 10 life, 10 mana, I lose 10 life, no, 20 life, in the commander game that would work. And boom. My creatures now get +10, but get +5/+0. I guess that's a lot. Firestorm Orc. Ew. It's a 5/5 for 3, 5/5 for 4, and has haste and deals 1 damage to you at the beginning of your upkeep. Yay. I think it's another card I gotta take out. Oh, Fire Blessing. Enchanted creature. Enchanted creature deals combat damage. Fire Blessing deals that much damage to you. So, the enchanted creature deals combat damage to you. Okay, it deals combat damage. It's not a curse. So, I guess you control that. So, I'm not really sure how that will work in the end. But the guess is going to be that it will, you enchant a creature, and when that creature deals that much damage to you, which could be good, could be bad, depending on what happens. I don't really know exactly how that works out. Oh, Ringo, Warrior Power. It's a planeswalker. It can be your commander. And you can create a 2/1 Goblin with haste, or you can deal 2 damage to all targets. Oh, it also doesn't have any, it also comes with 1 loyalty. So it dies, it doesn't use anything, it just says, okay, keep going, Keep going up, keep going up. We're going up too, that makes sense in that regard, I guess. Anger. Give it +5/+0 and deal 2 damage to you. Yeah, I'm gonna just hit myself for 2. And give my creature 5/5/0. I feel like that's gonna work out somewhere. That Ringo's Lair, legendary land. Oh. When you take damage, untap it. And then, so, I think this is an infinite combo this card has by itself. Which is why it's mythic, I guess. Because you would add 1 red mana, and I guess you keep just hitting yourself if you want to, as much red mana as you want, because you take, so that's actually pretty broken. Because what you do, you take the land, it enters untapped, you go womp dop 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 dop, hit myself in the face, 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 and it goes up until you have what you need, and then you can cast everything else. That's ridiculous. That card's broken. That card's ridiculously broken. It's a legendary land Goblin too. And on top of that, House of Fire. House of costs 1 less for each target. I think it's really House of Fire costs 1 less for each fire type you control, which is not very many. But and each creature you control has burn. I missed a word here, but that makes sense. House of Cost. I missed a word, but you know, it's House of Fire. It does it costs 1 less for each fire type of creature you control, which is probably not very many, which means it could be ridiculously expensive. And each creature has burn 1. Krako. Not Kranko, Krako. They have haste. Goblins have haste, there's Fire Goblin, and you can search around for a fire type creature and place it onto the battlefield. Chain of Fire. It can attack or block in the beginning of that creature's controller's upkeep. Deal 1 damage to that player. Cool. Can't attack or block, and you get damage onto that player. Goblin Archer. You can have as many copies of this as you want, and you can pay 1 red, deal 1 damage to any target. And you can tap any number of Goblin Archers, deal that much damage to the target player. That card could be ridiculously broken. Just because, if you have, let's say, 10 of these in your deck, just go ahead, actually, let's say you have 40 of these in your deck. Obviously, you probably don't have 40. All you do is tap, you pay 2, you have 2 lands, you go have whatever amount of lives you have, you put 20 in your field, tap them all, deal 20 damage to 2 units. It's not commander damage, but still a lot. The Champion, oh no. It's a 1/12. That says, whenever the champion is dealt damage, deal that much damage to yourself, or to you. So, punch yourself in the face for as much damage as you get. But it's a 1/12. It's not going to die easily. And it costs 5. Oh, goodness. I feel like that's not very good. Maybe there's some other cards that combo with it. Become the champion. Oh. Never mind. If you would take damage and your life total would become 0 or less, you prevent that damage. Oh. So that's where that comes from. So you take no damage from anything that has too much damage. If you lose too much life, you prevent all the damage. So that could be good. That could be good. It has Shroud, so it's not easy. It's going to be difficult to get out, but, you know, that's tough. The Tracker. It is tapped during your Let me try to figure out what it says. When tracker step during your second main phase, during any second main phase, it deals 1 damage to you. And when it deals damage to you, you add 1 red for each damage you received this turn. That could be ridiculous. I think I may have messed this completely up, but you can tap it. It becomes tapped during any second main. Okay, so if it's tapped during my turn, your turn, whoever's turn it is, it deals 1 damage to you, and you get 1 red mana that I guess you can use to cast stuff. Interesting. Fire Sorcerer, burn 2. It's a fire goblin. There's nothing else to explain about that. It just has burn 2. Burning Treasure. Oh, goodness. It's an artifact fire type. Whenever Burning Treasure enters, it enters with X gold counters on it. At the beginning of your X turn, you create X treasure tokens and it deals X damage to you. I guess you're prevent with damage. And you can place a burning counter. You can place a gold counter on Burning Treasure, so you take a lot of damage and you carry a bunch of treasure tokens, which allow you to play spells. That card is insane. It's not ridiculously powerful because you do have to pay a lot for it and you do take damage. But, yeah, no, it's not bad. It's not a bad card, I guess. Rango the Ruler. At the beginning of your end step, if you took damage, you create a 2-1 with haste. A 2-1 with haste. 2-1 Goblin with haste. And you can do 1 damage to you by tapping it. That's weird. Anyways, next card. Ringo's Flame. It's an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, it deals 1 damage to you. And at the beginning of each player's end step, the player who was dealt the most damage creates a 2-1 Goblin with haste. So if you deal the most damage to yourself, you get a 2-1 Goblin. Otherwise, someone else gets a 2-1 Goblin. Weird. Magic of Goblins. Create 2-1 Goblins with haste, and then you can deal damage to yourself. Yay. Ringo's Contract. If you would take damage, double that damage. Double? You take double that damage. If you're dealt damage to opponent, double that damage plus 1. Okay, so it's really helpful. So if you would deal damage to an opponent, double that damage plus 1. So if you deal 10 damage, you deal 21 damage. So commander damage will be pretty quickly in that one. Heisen, whatever. Burn 2, 5/5. Doesn't make a difference. Burning Angel. A Burning Angel. Flying, its first strike and flying. Pretty good combo. 7/7. And whenever it attacks, deal 3 damage to any target, which be itself, like it could be you or anyone else if you want to. But that does a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. Burning Treachery. Oh. It's nobody's act freezing cards. Gain control of any gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature and it gains haste until end of turn and deals 2 damage to you. So it's a worse version of Act of Treason, pretty much. Nothing else on that really. Rango Destructions. Whatever. Destroy all creatures. Goodbye. So basically, cast a spell, you destroy everything. Wow. Sword of Flame. It's an artifact equipment, and equipped creature gets +1/+0 and has burn 1. It equips for 5. Cost to 1 to get into the field, though. Yeah. It's tough one. Double attack. Target creature gets double strike until end of turn. Oh, so it does 42 damage, 41 damage if you have that one a card of it. Not bad. We got Alright. Give me a coin. Do I have a coin? Close enough. So I flip a coin. So whenever it attacks, I flip a coin. Beep. And then something happens. Oh. If it's heads, it does 3 damage to each player. So that hurts you as well. And if it's... Oh, I hit heads, so if it's 3 damage to one. And if it's tails, each creature you control gets +1/+0 into turn. It has to attack in order to do that. It's a 6/7 for 5. Whew. That's a lot of damage. It's an artifact though, so you can target with an artifact. You can target it though, and it doesn't have shroud or anything like that. Comma the Rogue. Burn 2, haste 2/1. Not. Target gets first strike. First strike. Target against first strike until the end of turn. Yeah. Shatter. Oh, destroy target artifact mana value X or less. So it would cost you more, but you can draw a card off that. So cool. That's a pretty good card. I don't know how well I get. That's pretty bad for most of the cards. Forge the Sword. You can only cast a legendary instant if you control a legendary permit. So that'd be a planeswalker, a legendary artifact, a legendary creature, a legendary. Yeah, okay. Create a You can cast Forge Sword basically only if you have an legendary instant if you control it. I don't think legendary instants even exist. I mean, there's legendary sorceries, but you have to control legendary permit in order to get the thing. Oh. Ring of Sword. Oh. That's right. It's a Ring of Sword token. It is a legendary artifact token. Probably should have gotten more things. Creature with +7/+7 and double strike. That's a token though, so you don't actually cast it. For 10, equipped for 10. My. It's a common, that's why. Witch Goblin. Deal 2 damage to 2 different targets, so 1 to you, 1 to your opponents, if you want to do it that way. So 1/3, no burn. Flaming Ring. Ooh! Flaming Ring has a quick creature has burn 2. And you can equip it to a fire type creature for 1, or you equip it for a regular creature for 3. Ghost Winger. The Fire Goblin Dragon. I don't know how that makes sense, but okay. You can have as many copies of this as you want. And it gets +1/+1 for each fire creature you control. Could be pretty powerful. Oh, it has flying. Add on to that. Assault to injury. Lightning Bond. It's lightning mold, I guess. Except differently. 3 damage to any target, and if it's exile targeted creature if it dies this turn. Not much off of that. We got the Raging Orc. Fire Orc. Burn 3. And if it has haste if you have 12 or less life, it has indestructible if you have 5 or less life. Which probably doesn't do much in a commander game, because, you're not going to have that low life, generally. But, you know, burn 3, that might make up for it, I guess. Fire Spear. It's an instant. Oh, you can have as many copies of this as you want. Which I'm pretty sure I didn't try to do. Maybe I did, I don't know. Deal X, where X is the number of fire spears you have in the graveyard, plus 1, so you do 2 damage. If you only have one of them. I don't know. Not a very good one. Fire Whip. When Fire Whip enters, deal 3 damage to any target creature, and then enchanted equipped creature can't block and has hexproof. I feel like this is not named correctly. It only equips for 1, but okay, that's weird. Wait. Double strike. It has haste if you have 12 or less life. Oh, cool. Not much off of this. It's just a 3/3 that has double strike if you have 12 or less life. The Campfire. It's an enchantment. It is when you cast a fire type spell, add 1 red to your mana pool. Yay. And we have a mountain, which is a basic land. I think there's multiple of these. 74. I think I did actually put these in the wrong order. You got another mountain. Search the Burning Lands. It is a 0 cost card, which might make it broken, except that it just says, at additional cost, tap all the creature and lands you control. Search later for 3 basic lands, put them on the battlefield tapped. So I have 3 lands. Woohoo! I get 3 lands. I get to basically put lands in it, but I have to tap all the creatures and lands I control. It doesn't have to have vigilance or not. I don't feel like this is a very good card. It's not a bad card necessarily, but maybe it's a in the game card. Burn Alive. Destroy target creature, and Burn Alive deals 3 damage to you unless that creature has power 4. Has 4 or less power. Not sure it's very good. Goblin Trader. Tap it. Return target card from your hand to the bottom of your library. What? Oh. But it gets better, because then you can just do it again. You can tap everything out, and everything gets +1/+1 if you have 3 or less cards. Your hand size is lower than 3. Wait, if your hand size is lower than 3, means if you have 3 or less cards, then you get to give your creatures get +1/+1. Takes a long time to get to that point, doesn't it? Oh, Meteor Crush. Just deal 12 damage to each creature, and all creatures lose all abilities in turn. In that order, I guess. Flaming God has Reach. Wow. Forge the Axe. It has a mechanic called Recast. Search later for an equipment card and place it in your hand. You can recast it for pretty much at least 3. If you first time you cast it, it costs you just the 2 red. The second time you cast it, it costs you 3 red, or basically this is entirely 1 red deck, and then so on and so forth. So it gets more expensive as you go along. Orc, or Oxford the Ranger, has trample and first strike 4/5 for 6. Not much to go with that. Wrangler the Burnt, it's a planeswalker. If you take damage, place that many loyalty counters on Wrangler the Burnt, and if you minus exit, deal that much damage to any non-player target. So you can't do it to anything. You just can't do it to a player. And that's the last card. I feel like that's a lot of things to go for. I don't know, this is not a very long video somewhat for, but there isn't much to sell, so I can talk about that. I ordered the cards, and the cards are supposed to get here sometime. Yes. So I'm going to say what I'm going to do. Yeah. So we got quite a bit of videos coming out. We got, for next week, will be the next episode of Balance of School, which will be the Spiral Cup Part 2, because I did the first one. And then we're going to do Protect, which I hope we didn't make any mistakes on that one. And then, after that, I don't know. We are probably going to be going through, probably going to take 2 weeks off. I don't know, maybe take a week off or so, the 22nd. So we'll probably have something on the 22nd, something on the 29th, but I don't know where they are at the moment in time. So that's it in this video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. And don't forget to keep your game on.